girls! So today I am filming a video that has kind of just been a long time coming, and it is going to be a college Q&A and advice video. And honestly, for the past pretty much year, I've just gotten so many questions about all kinds of things to do with my college experience. And so I thought, now that I have finished my freshman year, it's summertime, I'm going into my sophomore / actually junior year of college in the fall, so I kind of have a good feel for the first year of college and everything like that, and I feel pretty comfortable with it. So I went ahead and asked you girls for questions on things you wanted to know, and I got a ton of questions, so thank you so much for all of you who asked me questions. I really hope that this video isn't going to be too long. I guess I'll split it into two parts if it does end up being too much. But I kind of split up the questions so that some of them are just like quick questions that I'll just have a quick answer to, and then the other ones are going to be kind of like little advice blurbs. And if you want me to expand on anything, like make a separate video and explain more or anything like that, please leave me a comment below and tell me. Because I feel like some of these topics I honestly could make an entire video on, so maybe I could do like a series before back to school. I feel like this is a good time to start because it's kind of like midsummer when you're starting to think about going back to school, but it's still kind of far off. So yeah, anyway, I hope that this video is helpful for you girls, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So these first couple questions are kind of geared towards me personally. And the first one that I got a couple times is, what's your major? And I actually get this question so much, which I think is funny because I talk about it all the time. But I am a film major, so I'm studying video production and script writing and things like that, and it is so much fun for me. Of course I make YouTube videos, so I'm passionate about just video in general, and it's really cool to get to kind of sharpen those skills. I don't know if you can tell by watching my videos, but I feel like the quality of my videos has steadily gotten better the more that I've learned just about like exposure and white balance and all of that stuff that you girls probably don't understand. But it just has helped me a lot, and I love it so much. I would not trade it for the world, and I'm so happy to be studying something I'm so passionate about. The next question that I got a couple of times is, what sorority are you in? And I am in Alpha Xi Delta. So yeah, that is one of the, I believe it's 26 Panhellenic sororities, and I love it to pieces. If you girls want to see a separate video on sorority recruitment and stuff like that, I'd be happy to do that. I really loved the whole experience. I don't know where I would be without joining my sorority, and it's just so much fun. I know it's not for everyone, but for me personally, it was a great choice. The next question was asked a lot, and it is, how did you adjust to being away from your family, and was it hard being away from your family? And I know a lot of you know that I am an out-of-state college student, so I'm originally from Florida, and I'm in Florida right now for summer break, but I go to college in Virginia. So for those of you who are familiar with the East Coast of America, that is a huge distance. It's like 800 something miles, I think, from my house to my school. So that's a big distance. It's like a 13-hour drive and an hour-and-a-half flight and just like all this craziness. So anyway, it was a huge adjustment for sure, because of course I grew up with my parents. I've lived in the same small town since I was like 2 years old. So to go to like a big city and everything was just a huge transition for me. But personally, it took me a super long time to get homesick, just because I was so in love with my school and everything about it, and I was so excited and starting classes and making friends and joining a sorority. And so I just got so involved in everything that I wasn't even really homesick at first. I think after the first time I went home was the hardest part for me, because I kind of re-felt like my family ties and stuff, I guess, if that makes sense. So that was hard for me, but I think it just takes time, it's a big adjustment. You're going from always depending on your parents and really them making a lot of the decisions to really living on your own. I mean, you're in a dorm and you're on a college campus, so obviously you're safe, and like if you really need help, you can just ask someone and it's not a big deal. But it is a big transition. So anyway, I think the way that I dealt with it was just keeping in touch with my family. I talk to my parents almost every single day when I'm away, and keeping that relationship just pretty much the same, just farther away, really helps me a lot. So I don't know, I guess I just kind of stayed involved and made sure I focused on school and the things that I'm involved with on campus, and that really helped me to not focus on being so homesick, because I didn't have time to just lay around and be sad, if that makes sense. The next question is, how do you pay for college? And honestly, this is one that I'm still trying to answer myself. Being an out-of-state student is so expensive, so I just kind of have to figure it out. My parents have helped me so much. I would not be able to be going to the school that I am without their support. But honestly, just things like scholarships and taking extra loans, it's just kind of how it has to go. Of course, I also work as much as I possibly can, and that is also a big help. But I think it just takes a lot of planning, and if you really want something, you will find a way to get there. And since I love my school so much, every semester, even though it's a struggle, we find a way, and it's totally worth it. Another question that I got is, do you have a job during the school year? And yes, I do, absolutely. It is another thing to balance. It does make things hard sometimes, but I honestly can't not have a job. Like, I would not be able to afford to go to school unless I worked during school also. I pretty much work as much as possible year-round to make sure that I can save up as much as I can for school, because it makes life easier, makes me have to take less money for loans and all of that fun stuff. So yes, definitely I do work during the school year. The next question is, what is the most exciting thing that happened during your freshman year? This is a hard question because I feel like my freshman year of college was such a huge part of my life, and just so much like fun things happened. I went to New York City with some of my friends. I made multiple trips to DC, which was really fun. But I think the biggest thing that happened for me was joining my sorority. I will say that, just because it was such a big part of my life for the past year, and it just was really awesome. You know, I really met a lot of amazing girls and just had so many cool experiences from the whole process. So I would say I think the most exciting thing that happened to me this year was excuse me, I guess I'm talking too much. The most exciting thing that happened to me this year was definitely joining AZD. I got this question so many times, and I totally understand, because it was one that I definitely wanted to know when I was moving into my dorm last year. And it is, what is a dorm essential that a lot of people forget? And I feel like when you go to school, you have your little checklist and you go to Target and you buy all this stuff and you're like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go, college. Like, I got this. But I think one thing that actually is really important that a lot of people don't think about is things like Tylenol and cough medicine and allergy medicine and things like that. You don't think about those sort of things until you need them, and depending on how sick you get, it's kind of hard to go get them. It depends on where you are. I mean, there are convenience stores on campus usually, but also those are wicked expensive, so you want to try to avoid that and just go ahead and get things like Tylenol and cold medicine and stuff like that, just so you're prepared if and when you do get sick. And because of all the stress and you're maybe having a weather change, I don't know, it depends on where you end up going to school, it's just a good thing to have, definitely. That is one thing I'm so grateful for. Actually, that table right behind me I brought with me to school, and the top drawer is just straight up like medicine and band-aids and things like that. And it made my life so easy, because there were a couple times this year where I got pretty sick, and having that in my room was just really convenient because I could go ahead and take care of myself, and I didn't have to worry about how I was going to get to the store to buy anything that I needed. Another question that I got is college more stressful or less stressful or about as stressful as high school? And I would say this is honestly going to depend on the person, because it's a huge transition. Like I've said earlier in this video, you know, you're moving away from your friends and your family, you're starting a new life and a new chapter of your life, you're living in a different place. So of course it's going to be a big transition, and that part of it can be stressful. But I would say that the workload honestly isn't that much worse than high school. But it really just depends on your opinion. I took a lot of AP classes and things like that when I was in high school, so to me the transition wasn't that bad at all. There is a lot of reading and a lot of papers and things like that, but if you keep up with it, it's not bad at all. In college you have so much more time around your classes to get stuff done, so as long as you don't procrastinate, then you will be absolutely fine. And I promise you, it is so easy to get sucked in and procrastinate because there's so many other fun things going on, like people wanting to go to the movies with you, or going to do something on campus with your friends, or if you join some clubs, hanging out with those people and doing stuff for them. So just make sure that you keep a balance and you don't procrastinate too much on big projects and papers, and you should be fine. The workload honestly isn't that bad in my opinion. Okay, and now I'm gonna move on into kind of the advice sort of topics that I got some questions on. Like I said, I'm just gonna do a quick kind of like overview of them, and if you wanna see a full video on one of these, definitely just tell me below and I will be happy to do that for you. The first one that I got quite a few times is advice on applying for college and also choosing the college that you want to go to. And like I said, this is one of those topics that I could talk about for absolutely forever because there's just so much that goes into the whole process. But just in short, I would say if, say, you're a junior starting to look at applying to colleges in the fall, just do a lot of research. Right now it's summer. You have so much time on your hands. I know it's so easy to get sucked in and watch YouTube videos and go on Tumblr and watch Netflix and all of that. But just take some time out of your day, every day or every other day, whatever's convenient for you, and just do some research. At this point, you probably have a general idea of what you want to do, and even if you think you're going to be undecided for your freshman year, which is totally okay, people change majors all the time in college, and it's totally normal to do that. But I would say if you have a general idea of what you want to major in, like I knew I wanted to do something with video when I was looking at schools. So if you have something like that, I'm sorry the lighting just changed so much. A cloud totally just covered the sun, natural lighting props. But anyway, I got distracted. I would just say focus on what you think you want in a college and just research and research and research on colleges in state, colleges out of state, colleges in your area, colleges really far away. Just go crazy and, you know, keep your options open because all you're doing is researching and seeing what schools you might be interested in. Once you actually get into applying, I would say find those schools that you think might fit you the best and go ahead and apply for them. It's also good to do some kind of local safety schools, you know, maybe a community college and just some state colleges. I feel like there's kids playing with fireworks or something. That was really loud, I'm sorry. But just keep your options open and definitely apply to a lot of different schools, maybe ones that are kind of reach schools, ones that you know you probably get into, and some in the middle. And if you do that, I think with the whole application process, oh my god, now I'm like glowing because it's so bright. What is with the lighting in this video? Crap. Okay, let me see if I can fix this. I'm sorry. There we go. Now I'm not glowing anymore. Okay, I'm sorry. I keep just getting distracted. Film major problems. But anyway, I would just say focus on that, figure out what colleges you think might fit you best, but also keep some safety schools in mind, and then just apply. And basically with the whole application process, you're just going to have to do research, like I said, find those schools you want to apply to and go for it. Each application is going to be time consuming. It's just kind of part of the whole process. So make sure that you are true to yourself in your essays and apply to the schools that you want to go to and just kind of go for it and you should be fine. I could say a lot more, but I want to keep this video short. So again, if you want to hear more about that, just tell me below. And then for the second part of a question is like, how do I choose a college? How did you choose your college? All that sort of stuff. So once you get acceptance letters and things like that, you're going to start kind of getting an idea of what schools you might want to go to and, you know, ones that you aren't as like excited about, I guess. The biggest tip I have for choosing a college is to go tour. If you get into 10 schools and you have the time to tour them all, do it. Because there is nothing like actually being on campus to get a feeling for if a school is right for you. It sounds really weird, but I've heard this from so many people, so I know that it's true. And when you walk on the college campus that you're meant to go to, you're going to know it. There's just this gut feeling, and it sounds so silly, but I promise you it will be there, and you will know which school is right for you. And this happened for me. I went to my school and I knew I belonged there. And honestly, I have never been more true to myself and more happy in my life than when I've been at my college. So I would just say, you know, do your research. Also, you have to be realistic. What you can afford is obviously also important. But if you have a dream school that you want to reach for, you probably can find a way to go. It may be applying for scholarships every single day and asking your parents for help and working a job and saving up as much as you can. But as long as you focus on it and, you know, you really want it, you will get there. So I guess my biggest tip for choosing a college is just to tour and, you know, kind of get a feel for the campus and see if it would be a good fit for you, because you do spend 4 years of your life on that campus, so it is a really important choice.